Hey guys, okay, so I have talked to a lot of you recently, like probably just in the last week or two, who have been talking about just like feeling like you're paralyzed, like you're just stuck. You don't really know what to do to move forward. You feel like you just kind of have this voice on repeat that is just telling you like, what's the point? All this crazy stuff is going on. I don't know if I'm going to end up getting sick, like all of these different things. And just like, I don't really have time. Like I don't have time to work out, or I'm working so much. I know some of you guys are in the healthcare industry and you guys are working more hours and it's really, really hard. Some of you are considered essential workers. And so you're working longer hours, or you're working and you wish you weren't working. There's a lot of different things that we can be feeling right now, but I just want to encourage you guys, if you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling frustration, first off, you can totally reach out to us. Like any of us in this group, you can reach out and you can post in the page, you can message us in the Marco Polo, whatever works for you. I want you guys to just know that this can be a place that you can reach out to for help. The second thing I want you to know is that none of your feelings are wrong. If you're feeling overwhelmed, there's nothing wrong with you. If you're feeling super happy and you're grateful that your kids are home more and that you're able to be home with them right now, and everything feels good to you other than just the unknown, then that's okay too. Like there's nothing wrong with you for feeling anxiety, for having a hard time, getting up in the morning. I saw a post the other day, I think it was last night. I shared it in my Instagram stories, but it just talked about how like this period of time that we're in right now as a society of the world basically is kind of like if you're a mom of a newborn. Okay, so I just want you to think about like if you had a friend who was a mom of a newborn baby and everything was changing drastically by the minute or by the day, and this newborn baby was keeping them up at night and, just was basically totally changing their world, right? Everything changes when you have a new baby. And if that friend were telling you, I feel like such a failure that I haven't worked out, or that I haven't been doing very good with my meal plan, or I feel like such a failure that I haven't done any of these things that I feel like I should be willing to do because I see other people who are doing these things, like they're doing, homeschool with their kids and they're doing all these fun activities with their kids. And I really feel like I should be doing those things too. Okay. As soon as you hear the word should come out of your friend's mouth, that should be a warning. That's a warning right there that says, okay, they have an unrealistic expectation of themselves and they need to just face reality. So I want to just challenge you guys to just face reality and accept that if this feels hard right now, it's okay. It's okay for it to feel hard. It's okay for it to feel uncertain. And it doesn't mean that when you face that it's going to just suddenly go away. But it does mean that you can look at it and you can say, kind of like in Frozen, if you've seen Frozen, Olaf talks about this. He talks about how we're controlling the things that we can control. So I just want you to guys think, and I'll post a graphic below that has a really good kind of chart. And I've posted this before, but just think about the things that you're in control of. Are you in control of whether or not this virus keeps spreading? No. Are you in control of whether or not your job is considered essential? No. Are you in control of all of these other things that are uncontrollable, of how much the news shares on stuff, of how much your friend complains about things, of how much your husband or your sister or your mom complains about everything and wants to send you all of the stuff about how this is so terrible and this is such a terrible thing for the whole world and we all need to be warned because the apocalypse is coming? No, you can't control any of those things. The only thing you can control is what you do with the information. So I posted about this earlier, just 15 minutes ago, but think about the things that you're in control of. You're in control of how you face this. You're in control of how you show up to your life every day. And yes, it's okay to feel overwhelmed and it's okay to have those periods. Just like as a newborn mom, a mom of a newborn, you have days where you literally just can't function. And that's okay. It's okay to have those days and to have those moments. But I just would challenge you to remember that the baby grows and you get used to things and you adjust. And you're perfectly capable of doing that in any season of your life. It just takes a little bit of time. So if it's taking you longer than it's taking, say, your neighbor or your friend or whoever, that's okay. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. But just recognize that if you want to change how you're feeling and you want to move forward, then it is possible to close the door on fear and to open the door to hope and to just pushing forward and just doing the things that you can to control your immediate situation. So for me, what I'm doing right now is I am just doing my best to dive into my routine. For me, that means personal development is vital. And it's actually about 10 times more important to me right now. So like things like podcasts and positive uplifting speakers, good books to listen to. Those things are way more important right now because our brains are just getting bombarded with everything that could possibly be negative, everything about how terrible everything is. And yes, like there's no denying that this is hard, this is difficult, and this is impossible for some people. And it's okay that it is that, because if we sit there and we worry about it and we stress about it every single minute of our day, then we're giving way more power to this virus than we need to. Okay, if you're sick and you have the coronavirus, then yes, do all the things that you need to do and keep yourself quarantined and whatever. That's fine. But just recognize that you don't have to feel powerless until you're powerless. And right now, none of us are powerless. As far as I know, none of us have the virus. None of our family members have the virus. So we just need to find a way to pull out of that panic and just get back into our own headspace, okay? So one of the ways that helps me to do that is to breathe. So if you're like feeling panic, just remember that you need to breathe. So take a few deep breaths, like 10 deep breaths. And then just change your focus. Find a different empowering meaning to give to this. So instead of why is this so hard right now, think about what am I learning? What am I learning right now? What is my family learning right now? How are we drawing closer together? How are we approaching this? How can we approach this in a way that is going to feel better? There's so many different ways that we can talk to ourselves in a different way rather than giving into panic and eating all of the candy and the chocolate, which don't get me wrong, I have my moments of eating the chocolate and the stuff. But okay, I got off on a tangent. Jess, you asked what books am I listening to right now? So right now I'm listening to a podcast. So the podcast that I like listening to, especially right now, is called the Life Coach School Podcast by Brooke Castillo. And the Life Coach School Podcast, she actually has in the last 2 weeks released a bunch of episodes. One of them is managing or handling chaos. So managing chaos right now, like managing the chaos in your brain, managing the chaos of what's happening around us. It applies to every season of life, whether or not we're dealing with this right now or not. So I would challenge you to go and listen to the Life Coach School Podcast. I will drop her link below in just a few minutes. I don't think can I do anything? Oh, I can. Yay, look at this. Okay, Life Coach School. And if you go to the more recent ones, she's got some really good podcast episodes recently just about this right now. And the other book that I have, I have a lot of books, to be honest. One of my favorite ones, though, for this time of year or this time of life, this kind of crisis feeling, is called The Happiness Advantage. The Happiness Advantage by Sean Achor. Happiness Advantage is fantastic. He's just funny, down to earth, and he just talks about the science of happiness. Another really, really good book right now, I would say The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, or really anything by Brene Brown. There's actually a Netflix series if you want to just get a taste of who Brene Brown is. There's a Netflix video on Netflix that's called The Call to Courage, and she talks about vulnerability and learning to communicate. And especially in times like this, if you're having a hard time communicating with your spouse or with your family members or people that you have relationships with, sometimes it can really help to dive into something about vulnerability and learning how to communicate differently so that you can express what you're feeling in an empowered way. And yes, I do have a Harry Potter necklace. Love Harry Potter. Let's see, other books that are really good ones. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. Essentialism by Greg McKeown. Oh my gosh. That's a really good one. Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. Girl Stop Apologizing by Rachel Hollis. That's a really good one too. What is the one that I've read? Oh, okay, let me show you this one. This one's actually really, really good for anxiety. I haven't read this in forever, but I read this at the peak of some of my anxiety periods. It's called The Worry Trick. And this book, The Worry Trick by David Carbonell. Let me type that in. The Worry Trick by David Carbonell. This book is all about what your brain is doing. Like when you're feeling anxiety, when you're feeling fear, when you're feeling worry, all those kinds of things. It really just helps you understand what is behind actual worry and why it makes us feel the way that it does. Anyway, do you guys have any other questions? I know I've got a few of you on live. Anything that you guys are stressing over or just feeling frustrated with, please, please, please don't hesitate to message me. I'm trying to obviously like take care of myself because I've had my days. Believe me, I've had my days of not wanting to work out, of not wanting to even get out of bed, and just feeling like, oh my gosh. The worry trick. Yeah, sorry. Not the worst trick. Thanks, Jess. I will just post a couple pictures of these books. That'll probably help, but I can't do that until I get off the live. So do you guys have any other questions or anything that you feel like you need some help with this week? But right now, I can't stress this enough. Like I talked about this in my post, but like there's this quote floating around that's like, this virus has the ability to destroy you mentally before it even enters your home. So just think about that. And just absorb the fact that you are the one in control of how you process this. You don't have to watch all of the news. You don't have to scroll Facebook for all of the negative stuff that's going around. You can be informed and you can still take control of the way that you approach your life. You can be proactive and you can still be in charge of the way that you show up to your day. So I hope this is helpful. Please, please, please don't hesitate to message me if you are having issues or you're stressing, you need some help figuring out how to set realistic expectations, then I'm totally here to help you do that. But I can't read minds, and if you don't respond to posts or messages, I have no clue how to help you. So please, please, please just reply when you can, and I will talk to you guys later. And make sure to go down below to check out the podcast and a couple pictures of the books.